Hello, my people. Good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in every day to listen to me on Daily Mind Shift. My name is Michael Ujola from Mindset Transformation Africa, and in today's episode, I want to remind you, and I want you to remind yourself about the difference between what we imagine and the reality of the world we live in. Let me anchor today's episode on this statement. Reminding yourself that the fantasy in your mind of anything or anyone is often better than the reality will save you a lot of grief and a lot of stress. Reminding yourself that the fantasy in your mind of anything or anyone is often better than the reality will save you a lot of grief and a lot of stress. Let me just go right into it and unpack this. See, the mind is a beautiful thing, and that's why I dedicate myself to studying the mind, to being a mindset coach and all that shit. The mind is a beautiful thing. It is capable of imagination, of vision, of creating a whole world inside itself, right? You can dream up futures. You can design perfect scenarios. You can envision flawless people, perfect jobs, the best relationships, the ideal husband, the ideal wife. And for a while, living in that mental space feels good. It is clean. It is safe. It is ordered. Everything and everyone fits neatly into the way you want it to be. But here's where the danger creeps in. When fantasy starts replacing reality, then there is a problem. When fantasy starts replacing your reality, then there is a problem. When you cannot see what is obvious because you are so stuck in your mind, then we have a problem. When your expectations built on the idealized version of something or someone become so strong that you lose touch with the messy, imperfect, living, breathing truth in front of you, then we have a problem. Fantasy can be a beautiful servant, okay? It should be a beautiful servant, but it is a brutal master. You must not let fantasy rule you. If you're not careful, fantasy can trap you in cycles of disappointment, frustration, resentment, exhaustion, because nothing and no one will ever live up to the polished version you've crafted in your mind. Why do we really even fall in love with fantasies? You might be wondering, why do we even do this? It is simple. Fantasy is safe. Reality is not. Reality is hard as fuck. Fantasy is safe. Fantasy obeys your rules. Fantasy cannot hurt you. Fantasy doesn't talk back at you or to you. Fantasy doesn't have inconvenient flaws or unexpected needs. When we create mental versions of things, of people, they reflect what we want, not who they really are, not who they actually are. And that is comforting. It gives us a false sense of control in a world that is largely uncontrollable. But here's the problem. You cannot love, you cannot succeed or thrive in a fantasy. You can only do that in reality. And reality is messy. It is unpredictable. It is human, and that is the beautiful part of it. If you expect perfection, you are setting yourself up for permanent disappointment, all right? So let me just break some things down. Few places in our lives where fantasy sneaks in and poisons our expectation. Number one is our relationships. You meet someone new, a friend, a mentor, a romantic interest, all right? And you see all the goods in them, all their good parts. You ignore the warning signs. You fill in the blanks with what you hope is true. You fall in love not with the person, but with the idea of the person. Later, when their humanity shows up, and it always does, you feel betrayed. But they did not change, all right? You just finally saw them clearly. For example, another place is jobs and careers. You take on a new job and you think, yes, this is the one. This will be the perfect one, the perfect company, the dream team, the visionary boss. And for the first few weeks, it feels magical. But then reality shows up. Politics, difficult personalities, tedious tasks, broken systems. And you wonder, was I wrong to believe? No, you're not wrong. You just make the mistake. You made the mistake of expecting fantasy to be permanent. But it is not. You set a goal, for example. You want to lose weight, write a book, launch a business. In your mind, the process looks clean and inspiring. Oh, believe me, it does. You see the before and after photo, the standing ovation, the happy ending. What you don't envision are the late nights, the self-doubt, the plateaus, the boring grind of showing up every single day. And when you hit those walls, it is easy to think you are failing. But you are not. You are just walking through reality, not your fantasy. See, when fantasy runs unchecked, this is what happens. Disappointment happens. You keep feeling let down because reality doesn't match your mental movie. Then you have bitterness. You start resenting people for being human. Then you are restless. You keep chasing new things, new people, new experiences, always hoping this one will match the fantasy. Then you start blaming yourself. You wonder, what is wrong with me? Why doesn't it ever feel like it's supposed to? See, nothing is wrong with you, my dear. Nothing at all. What is wrong is the comparison between reality and unrealistic expectations. All right, that is the real thief of joy. That is the real thief of joy here. And it's important for you to acknowledge that. So, how do we handle this? All right, Mike, what do we need to do? You've been saying this. What do we need to do? How do we protect ourselves before becoming cyclical or hopeless? All right, here's what I think you should do. Manage your fantasies. Embrace your reality. Let me say it again. Manage your fantasies. Embrace your reality. Live the life in front of you. See it as it is. Keep your imagination, but hold it lightly. I'm not saying you should not dream. Dream, hope, visualize, but don't grip those visions so tightly that you refuse to see what is real in front of you. Imagination should serve you. Do you understand? Not shackle you. It should serve you. Visualization should serve your dream, should serve your purpose, should serve your vision. It should not shackle you. It should not be your master. It should be your servant. Accept that also. Accept that everything real is messy. Every person you admire is flawed. Every opportunity you chase has hidden challenges. Every beautiful thing or beautiful person you experience comes with some ugly parts too. Accept it. Expect it. Celebrate it. Messy doesn't mean bad, all right? Messy means real. Do you understand me? And also choose curiosity over judgment. Instead of saying, this isn't what I thought it would be, I'm out. No, say this is different than I expected. I wonder what I can learn from here. I wonder what I can learn here. Curiosity will keep your heart open. Judgment will close the door on you. Curiosity will keep your heart open. So I want you to choose curiosity, because that is choosing wisely. Also, see the good without demanding perfection. Look for the beauty in people. Look for the beauty in projects. Look for the beauty in places. But stop demanding they be flawless. All right? Perfection is a prison. Freedom comes from loving and working with what is real. Imperfections and everything. Work with what is real. Freedom from fantasy equals freedom to love. And that is the beautiful paradox. When you stop demanding fantasy level perfection from life, you actually start enjoying life more. You start seeing people as gifts, not as projects. You start seeing opportunities as adventures, not destinations. You start finding joy in the journey, even when it is bumpy. And most importantly, you free yourself to love fully, because real love for yourself, for other people, for life, it is about loving the perfect. It is not about loving the perfect image. It is about loving the whole messy, complicated, wonderful, broken, beautiful reality. Real life demands that from you. Think about someone in your life who disappointed you. Maybe a friend, a boss, a partner. Was it because they actually are terrible people? Or was it because they failed to live up to the mental movie you had of them? Now, think about someone you love deeply, flaws and all. You don't love them because they are perfect. You love them because you choose to see through the imperfections into their humanity, into their effort, into their essence. You see them. That is a real connection. That is what we should aim for. That is what I'm recommending that we aim for. So here's the daily mind shift that I want you to have today. Identify one place where fantasy is robbing you of peace. Maybe it's a person that you've idealized. Maybe it's a dream job you thought would solve all your problems. Maybe it's a goal you thought would make you instantly happy. Call it out. Then replace that fantasy with reality and choose to engage with it as it really is. Not how you wish it to be, but how you not how you imagine it to be, but exactly, beautifully, imperfectly as it is. This is what I want you to go with. Life will never be as clean, smooth, as perfect as the fantasy in your mind. People will surprise you, both good and bad ways. That is not failure.